We're going to reflect on the game we saw at Ellen Road last night. Leeds tried to put up a bit of a fight, but in the end, the strike power of Erling Haaland. Actually, I didn't think he played particularly well, if I'm honest. Scored two goals.
Don't rate him, though?
No. Played brilliant. They won 3-1 following that victory away at Leeds last night, live here on talkSPORT. City boss Pep Guardiola spoke about Jack Grealish's involvement with the goals, but not making the score sheet.
Jack is so generous. He could score and make the assists, but of course we want him more. We want him to have the mentality to score the goals. We have to have the quality. We saw him in the training session to score the goals, and he has to do it. It's just a question of the man saying, I'm going to score. Have doubt in his mind to score. When he's going to disappear, he's going to do the difference. Today was brilliant because when we can rest the ball with Riyad and the other one, give us an extra pass, and that helps us to play better.
Yeah, that's Pep Guardiola reflecting on that victory last night. And Jack Grealish, a bit of a pantomime villain last night, Benty. That there was a couple of free kicks that went his way that perhaps were a little bit soft. He makes the most of them. But I noticed that they were doubling up a lot on Leeds' right, City's left. In particular, first half, once at 0-0, they're making life difficult. He didn't really have a lot of space in which to attack him behind.
No.
He had a couple of chances. It was on his heels. There was a brilliant free kick from De Bruyne, edge of the box, where he's looked like he's going to shape up to whip one across the face of the 6 yard, and all he's done is drill it towards the edge of the box.
Yeah.
And he's not expecting it, Jack. It was like an afterthought.
Yeah.
There was another one on the outside of the right foot. Perhaps could have done a little bit better, but I thought he actually played pretty well, and he draws a lot of attention.
Yeah, and you know what I think for Jack? I mean, I do think at times people get fixated on stats. It's always stats. And
Let me write down stats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Stats.
yeah.
Hold on. Stats. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's a quote from Ben.
Yeah, exactly.
Stats.
Fixated on stats. But if you look throughout his career, I think the most he's ever scored in a season is 8. Do you know what I mean? So and that was when obviously he was at Villa, and he was.
That's his Premier League record.
Is 8. In one season. The best he's ever done is 8. But if you think about that season, people were waxing lyrical about him picking up the ball. But remember, he's been up to do a completely different job at City. At Villa, he pretty much could do what he wanted, couldn't he? Go where he wanted. If he wanted to go and get the ball off the goalkeeper, he could. He could go. He had a free role at Villa.
He played a lot of different roles at Villa as well.
Well, no, I think he had a free role, so he could pretty much go where he wanted.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola has got good players equally as good and better than him, so he doesn't need to do that. But I'm with you. He probably should have converted at least one of the opportunities he had last night.
Well, hit the target. He didn't hit the target. That's the thing as well. That's the one
the
for
two
me.
that he blasted over, he's got to hit the target with both, really.
Yeah.
But even in that situation, as you said, he draws fouls. He draws people onto him. He attracts players. He gets kicked a lot. But if he's attracting 2 players, that means someone's going to be free, whether it be De Bruyne or Mahrez. So he is affecting play without maybe getting the assist. But I think for someone of his quality, who can dribble with the ball, who can shoot, who can hit with both feet, his stats should be a little bit higher, assists and goals.
And also, teams set up differently against Aston Villa to the way they set up against City.
Of course.
So they're going to be a little bit more defensively minded. So it allowed him a bit more space to operate and do what he does.
They're going to defend really deep, aren't they?
Well, yeah. And against Villa, he's the only real attacking threat that they had.
Yeah.
So therefore they would defend differently maybe against him. But against City, and this is something that good sides face, Liverpool, I've seen Chelsea have to deal with it many times. Arsenal going to find that as the second half of the season. Teams will defend differently because you're a threat.
Yeah.
But against Aston Villa, he'd find space, he could operate, he'd drift into areas and find space.
Well, the pitch was so big when he was at Villa because, as you said there, if you come up against the top teams, you're thinking, well, half the season you're coming up against teams that are probably better than you, and the other half you should beat. Yeah. So a lot of the times the games are stretched. When you're at Manchester City and you're pretty much better than everybody in the league, you're going to get some teams that are going to be brave enough to go, you know what, we'll go toe-to-toe and see if we can get something, i.e. Brentford, who had to defend deep for large periods, but then hit them on a counter-attack. Or you're going to get teams that go, you know what, we just simply don't want to get battered today, so we're going to put everyone behind the ball, and it's going to be really difficult. And that's, I think, where Jack maybe could be a little bit better.
When they double up, and Christensen had a lot of help on that right-hand side, and the reason they scored the first goal, he was out of position, he's on an overlapping run, in the end De Bruyne went into that space. But because of that, the game's harder without the ball, right? So when you're trying to defend and cover space and you're doubling up on one side, inevitably at some stage against City, Mahrez on the other side is going to find a little bit more space in which to create something.
Yeah.
There's going to be, and they grind you down, City. That's what they're brilliant at, is keeping the ball. Maybe Jack Grealish indirectly might not, or directly might not have an impact on it. Indirectly, he will affect the game in some way.
Yeah, because as we just said, he's attracting people off the ball. Yeah. holds on to the ball as well, and that just drops a little bit of space, you know what I mean, for someone else to make a run. But I mean, they've got that many options, and I just think, and I said it when you written it down over there about stats, people are looking at Grealish thinking, well, he's played 9 matches this season, he's only got 1 goal and 2 assists. Yes, he should be better than that. Me knowing Jack and
doesn't make good reading.
It doesn't.
It?
Me knowing Jack and seeing him develop, because I was there at Villa when he was very first training session to what he became at Aston Villa, the captain.
Did he always have those calves?
Yeah, always had them.
I mean, they're monsters, aren't they?
They're monsters.
It's like he stuck a couple of cricket balls.
I'm pretty sure
down
back then though, his socks were above the knee. So somewhere along the line,
he's thinking
they've dropped.
I want people to see these.
Yeah, because
why wouldn't you? Or maybe the sock won't go round it.
Oh, maybe there's modern technology.
Maybe they just won't stretch around it and gets a bit of cramp in there.
So he, but no, yeah, I thought he played well last night. And again, if you're a player, and I've been there, when the ball's not going in the back of the net, or you and yourself don't feel like you're playing particularly well, when he walked off and he heard the Manchester City fans singing his name, that will give him confidence, because they appreciate what he's doing. Yeah,
and he's got a little bit of swagger about him. He's got that nice. There's something different about Jack because he wears his hair differently. He's a bit of a boy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say a rogue. That's not quite the right expression I'm looking for.
You would call him a rogue? The socks you said about the hair and that. I think he's a little bit rogue.
Rogue? Is that the word I'm after?
Well, all of a sudden now, I never used to see the people wearing the pads like that until he started doing it.
Right. Have you got the calves?
No, I've seen some people.
What, small calves wearing it?
Pinch your calves doing it.
Oh, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. It's like having your sleeves rolled up on an arm. You haven't got any muscle.
But no, I think he'd like his stats to be better. But listen, if he's playing in a winning team, then that's all that matters.
03717223344. Remember that line. If he plays in a winning team, that's all that matters. I'm writing these quotes down.